Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in to The Burning Truth. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Joining us on the line is the Lieutenant Governor-elect, Micah Beckwith. How does that sound, dude?
It sounds pretty good. Thanks for having me, Casey.
You know, it's funny. Morgan answered the phone, and she goes, he sounds chipper today. Goes, gee, I wonder why. He's had himself a good week. That's for sure. Oh, man.
I love it. Well, it's been good, and I just left a meeting about how we should never go with a digital currency. So I'm excited because we had the treasurer, we had the comptroller,
Good.
we had a couple reps that were in the room, and I think we're all on the same page. So, I walk out of those meetings and I have a smile on my face. I'm like, man, we got some good people who know truth and are willing to fight for it. So it's encouraging. So,
well,
yep.
One of the things I did is I kind of just went over a couple of meltdowns from some people at the beginning of the show today, which is something we've been doing over the past couple of days because it's just, it's funny. And I enjoy sipping the tears of crazy people. And lo and behold, dude, I find this this tweet from, James Briggs. And he goes, Braun, come pick up your lieutenant governor, simply because you challenged him to a debate. And you wanted to have him on WIBC in Indianapolis with Rob and Casey. You actually told me that Rob and I would probably get along really well. We've never met in person. I think we've chatted a couple of times on posts and things like that, but nothing ever serious. But I saw this and I'm like, exactly. This is what you should be doing. This guy has been lying about everybody for months. I have fact-checked James Briggs, I think, more than anybody, maybe Doyle over there, over at the Indy Star. And here's the thing. I think he's running from you because in the first two questions, I assume that he's going to be asked, hey, you said this, that was a lie. You said this, that was a lie. Explain. And his whole narrative falls apart. But that's just my guess. So why did you challenge him to a debate and kind of just fill everybody in?
Yeah, well, because he's been lying constantly for the last, 5 months in this whole, probably before then, but, he's been vilifying me. He's a bully is what he is. And the Indy Star is a bully. I don't like bullies. I stand up to bullies. You challenge a bully on the playground, and the bully gets scared and runs away. That's what happens. And so I finally just said, I've had enough of this guy. He's not factual in anything he says. So let's talk about it live on air. And so I just said, hey, James, come on WIBC, and we'll have Rob and Casey moderate it, and you and I will go back on all the facts, and you can ask me anything, and I will respond, and I'll ask you things, and I want you to respond, and you know what? It's funny. He just dodges. He didn't say I'll take you up on it or no, I won't take you up on it. He just runs to he's like, oh, Mike, come get your lieutenant governor, which. Listen, I think Mike would be right there with me. I think Mike's, sick and tired of the leftist lies just as much as I am. So, we're a new administration. The Braun Beckwith administration is bold. It's courageous. It's not going to back down from the fight, and we're going to stand strong on truth. And if the left, these woke ideologues want to come and take us on, well, we'll get in the ring with you, and we will gladly beat you over the head with truth. So that's where we're at. I'm sick and tired of these wokists that want to push this nonsense down our throats.
This guy is actually still out there. It wasn't that long ago. He wrote an opinion piece where he was still pushing COVID stuff. And it's honestly, of course, he's attacking you with all of it, right? Calling you anti-vax and all that stuff. Is you really still pushing this crap that's been debunked? How completely out of touch are you with reality that you're still spreading this propaganda that has been completely debunked? But he is, and again, he's attacked you several times. In a couple of pieces, right up to the very end, he called you, Braun, and Banks Indiana's crackpot era, for crying out loud. I struggle to say things about James Briggs that are FCC friendly. I feel that strongly about it, but it probably helps that I have a pastor on the show right now. but when I saw that you challenged him to a debate, I'm like, yes, this is what we need, because he won't show up, and he's been desperate to get attention on, basically by using your name for months, and now that there's an opportunity to actually sit down and address some of those things, he absolutely won't do it. I know he's written things about other Republicans as well that he provided absolutely no evidence of whatsoever, and I kind of made fun of him doing something that would absolutely get him sued if he put it in his article, but then he wrote the article and changed his original social media posts around. It was kind of funny how he did that. because he knows it would be a serious violation if he actually published that stuff in the Indy Star. So I was glad to see that you did that.
They're liars, man. I mean, that's the thing. You just got to call liars out and say, listen, stop lying, and I'm going to call you on it. You know what kind of got him to come after me yesterday? This is when this is why I challenged him. I posted something about how there were 18 million votes different between 2020 and 2024.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, if you can't see that there was election fraud in 2020 based on the universal mail-in balloting system, like you're blind. And he tagged me. He said, "Oh, this is the misinformation and the nonsense about still put." And I'm like, dude, how do you not see this? And he still wants to push this false narrative that somehow there wasn't election shenanigans going on in 2020. Just like he wants to say that somehow there, COVID was just out of a lab or out of a wet market in Wuhan, right? It wasn't from a lab, and it's just, come on, man. Like, you lost, and suck it up, take your lumps, and start being honest.
Yeah, and the thing that amazes me about this chart is that even liberals all over the country are like, "Hey, wait a minute, what happened here? How is it that Democrats always get within 3% on the popular vote numbers, the total numbers now?" And then in 2020, it was way up higher than that. Like, how did that actually happen? And, well, you've got court cases that definitively prove that. We know it for a fact. We know that millions of ballots, it's not an exaggeration, that is a provable fact, that millions of ballots were counted that would never have been allowed to be counted in any other election. And the excuse was, but COVID. And so we counted these illegal ballots because, COVID and stuff. Even right before this election here, right across the state lines, Micah, in Michigan allowed a Chinese national to vote in their election. It was illegal for him to do it. They caught him. They arrested him. They're going to charge him. But they also said his vote is going to count because there's no way to find his vote once it's already been counted and retract it. And then in my home state of Nevada, the Nevada Supreme Court ruled the day before the election that you must accept and count ballots that arrive late, even if they don't have a postmark, which, by the way, is a federal crime, one that the RNC has just won 2 federal cases about in 2 different states. But did that stop the Nevada Supreme Court? Absolutely not, because they want to count ballots that are illegal. That is the point. And so I kind of posted the Always Sunny conspiracy meme about this. Like, what if I told you that those millions of votes didn't disappear, but they never existed to begin with? It's because we know for a fact it's happened in the courts. The Wisconsin Supreme Court has said it. The Michigan courts have said it. Pennsylvania's courts have said it. Like, we've seen this definitively. So you're absolutely correct to point that. But liberals are even asking about it now.
Yeah, and they can't hide anymore. I mean, what happened on Tuesday was a beautiful rebuke of wokeism and leftist lies. And so, and again, I'm not saying Republicans get it right all the time. I mean, I'm
certainly not.
I'm literally the lieutenant governor elect because Republicans handled the last 4 years in the state of Indiana very poorly, and I've called them out on that. And so I'm not saying Republicans are always perfect, but what I am saying is Republicans aren't crazy. But the left has gone off the cliff of crazy. They want things like boys and girls bathrooms and boys and women's sports. They want to say, I mean, look what happened in New York with the proposition that passed where a minor can go to a doctor and ask for a gender mutilation surgery, and the parents don't have to be notified. That is literally the definition of crazy.
Well, and then you got people like Briggs over at the Indy Star out there telling you that, we shouldn't have proof of citizenship to register to vote. Like, it's just insanity. Micah, are you able to hold over for just one more segment?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I'm going to put you back on hold. We're going to do news, and we'll be back with you in about 6 minutes because I really want to ask you a couple of things about now your incoming administration. So I'm looking forward to that. Again, Lieutenant Governor-elect Micah Beckwith here on The Burning Truth. More coming up next.
Podcasts by Federated Media.